Welcome, listeners, to Together with Feeding New York State. I'm Ryan Healy,
And I'm Melissa Harry-Nannen.
and today we're excited to be joined by Cooper Rohan, Government Relations and Development Manager, and Joshua McGuire, Director of Food Access Programming from the Field and Fork Network. Both Cooper and Josh lead the statewide Double Up Food Bucks initiative. Cooper, Josh, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. So super excited for you guys to be here. First, why don't you tell us a little bit about Field and Fork Network and the work that you do?
Absolutely. So yeah, Field and Fork Network, we're a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to foster innovative solutions to create sustainable food systems. We've been operating for a little over 15 years now, offering several different programs. So we've been working to create community food-led food systems, for example, in Niagara Falls, where we've done work under the Niagara Falls Local Food Action Plan. Most recently, we've begun the work of creating a produce prescription program focused also in Niagara Falls. And, the one you may have heard of, our flagship program is the Double Up Food Bucks program, which is it's a nutrition incentive program that matches SNAP funds spent on fresh produce up to $20 per day. So that's a little bit about, us as an organization. We do more than Double Up Food Bucks, but obviously Double Up is the one most people have heard of.
Thanks, Josh, and really appreciate too your emphasis on these community-led food systems programs and initiatives. So on your website, Field and Fork Network states it's rooted in the belief that everyone deserves access to fresh, healthy food regardless of income. So what barriers do New Yorkers face in accessing fresh, healthy food, and why is this a problem?
Yeah, that's a big question. I'll take a stab at it, but one of the big things we know of in New York State is that 1 in 4 adults faces food insecurity. That number goes up based on race and demographics as well. But we know there's barriers around affordability and access. A lot of New York State is rural as well. You get outside of some of these urban zones, and New York becomes really rural really quickly. And there's not a ton of shopping choice or markets. We're also, many communities are in food deserts or food apartheid zones. And we hope that we can help address this. We want to make sure people don't have to choose between paying bills and putting good food on the table. And so for us, ensuring that affordability and the access to help shoppers stretch their food dollars is incredibly and foundationally important to us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you talking not only about food insecurity, but how it compounds with these other factors like race, like living in a rural area. That's all super important. And so I know you just chatted briefly about that Double Up Food Bucks program, and you all recently introduced your 2024 Double Up Food Bucks report, which is super exciting. Can you tell us more about this program and how it helps to address some of these barriers to fresh and healthy food?
Yeah, absolutely. We're super excited about the 2024 report. We've seen Double Up just over the years continue to grow pretty exponentially, as the program continues to grow, as support for the program continues to grow. Currently, we are working, across New York State. We do not work in New York City, but year over year, we're increasing the amount of counties that we're in. We're currently in 38 different counties right now with over 270 different access locations for Double Up Food Bucks. That includes grocery stores, includes mobile markets, farmers markets, every size of grocery store as well. And most recently, CSAs too, so community supported agriculture programs, as well as farm stands. So the program Double Up Food Bucks, it actually started in Michigan with Fair Food Network. In New York State was one of the earliest adopters. Our executive director, Lisa French, was really a protege of Orrin Hesterman, who started this Double Up Food Bucks program, and brought it to New York State as an early adopter 10 years ago now. So we're really fortunate in New York State to be built upon this foundation over the years that's allowed it to continue to grow. We started in Erie County at 7 farmers markets, and since that point, we've hit those numbers that I just mentioned here. The program is it's a bridge to help connect farmers to more shoppers, strengthening their business while also supporting healthy choices for consumers and benefiting the whole of the economy at the same time. We think of Double Up Food Bucks as a win-win-win. And the way it works is it matches SNAP purchases on fresh produce dollar for dollar up to $20 a day, ensuring that SNAP shoppers can stretch their food dollars and afford that access to healthy fruits and vegetables. The impact report that we just published as well, we've at this point spent $3.6 million and shoppers have engaged with the program over 420,000 times. So we continue to see this growth. When we started 2024, the program at our large grocery stores topped out at $5 per day. We've now been able to increase that to $20 per day. And that's something that's going to continue. We recognized, the need for this, and we've continued to really focus on some innovations that I would love to talk about in a second here that make the program, that much easier to use. For example, Tops Friendly Markets, we've started this partnership with them to continue to grow at their stores and to grow into even more locations with them. We recently, this year in 2025, also went into Price Chopper and Market 32 in Schenectady and Syracuse. And the way the program works at those locations is a coupon is printed when you use your Snap card. So there's no sign up necessary. The coupon that's printed recognizes if you've bought eligible items, which is the fresh whole produce, and then prints a coupon for that amount for you to come back and use on your next purchase of fresh fruits and vegetables. We're really excited about that innovation. It just makes it so incredibly easy to use and to access because there is no sign up there. If you're on Snap, you will get the benefit when you're shopping at those locations.
That's excellent, Josh, and super exciting just how this program has really taken off. So, as a SNAP participant, just for our listeners, how can a SNAP participant find retailers in their community that accept Double Up Food Bucks? And what does this process look like? So, you've got your EBT cards. What is the experience from the perspective of a SNAP participant?
Yeah, great question. So basically, the experience can be different depending on where the Snap shopper is shopping. For example, I just talked about at some of our large retail locations, our Tops, Price Chopper, Market 32, Save a Lot. You can first and foremost find which of those locations, whether it's a farmer's market, farm stand, CSA location, grocery store, corner store. If you go to doubleupnys.com, on the homepage in the top right corner is a find a location, and there's just a button. Press that button on the website. It will take you to a map, and then you can then use that map to find participating locations. We keep that map updated as we continue to add locations and access points. And so, for example, like I said, at those large retailers, if a customer all they have to use is use their SNAP benefits at checkout, and the machine will automatically recognize that SNAP tender type was used and print out the Double Up Food Bucks coupon. At farmers markets, it works a little bit differently. We use silver tokens. So SNAP shoppers will be familiar with these wooden SNAP tokens if they go to farmers markets that participate in SNAP and go to the market manager booth and swipe their SNAP card and get $20 in wooden tokens, which are the SNAP tokens. They will then get, if it's a double up farm market as well, matching up to $20 in silver tokens, which can all then go and be used at a farmer's market. So if you're if you don't know how the program works at a store, but you know that store participates and you're on site, go to the customer service desk or go to a cashier or any staff member and ask them, and they will be able to point you in the right direction as to how exactly it works. Many of our co-ops that we work with, they have an internal loyalty system, so that Snap shoppers, they don't have to pay a co-op fee to participate. At the co-ops we work with, that fee is waived for Snap shoppers to be members, to have an internal loyalty system, um, and be recognized within that system. So all their double up food bucks are stored in that internal loyalty system, and they can choose to spend those double up food bucks or save those double up food bucks at many of those co-ops that use that internal loyalty system as well. So I know it can be a little confusing or even a little intimidating, but I assure you, when you're on the ground and in those stores, as long as if you're confused and you ask those questions, we we work really closely with those stores to make sure that they are trained and able to speak to customers as to how it operates. If there's any other confusion, you can always reach out to us as well, info at fieldandforknetwork.com, and we can answer those questions too. Or you can email me personally, J McGuire, McGuire, at fieldandforknetwork.com. And I can also shoot this over to my team, who will get back to you with any other information if you're a customer who's confused about using the program. We also have a refer a store that you can get to at the doubleupnys.com website too, where you can refer stores to us who you think would be good fits for Double Up Food Bucks.
That's amazing, Josh. Thank you so much for sharing all of those resources, especially the fact that you can refer a store to. That's key. And
Yeah.
we also share some of those links and resources in the episode description as well for our listeners. And I also want to take this time to circle back to something you were chatting about a little bit ago about strengthening connections between farmers and the community, because that's something else that's so crucial for a program like this. And so I'm curious just to hear more about how Double Up Food Bucks supports local economies and why this is so important.
Yeah. So we see Double Up Food Bucks, as I mentioned earlier, as a win-win-win. And it's farmer by farmer and small business by small business, grocery store by grocery store. I mean, it's truly a grassroots effort. And it's a word of mouth effort, as well as retailers talk to other retailers and the program continues to grow. The feedback we get from farmers and the numbers we see you know as the program continues to grow, we know that this is impacting businesses on the ground, small businesses. I know I mentioned large retail. It impacts them as well, but it's those small businesses and those farms, those farm stands, and those farmers who are operating on those slim margins, where that extra boost coming into them from customers, having $20 more to spend that day at a farmer's market, or $20 more to spend in Double Up Food Bucks at that independent grocery store or that retail grocery store, it's a big boon over the course of a year for those markets. They get repeat customers that we hear about. They get to continue to connect with that customer, and it opens up that whole field of Snap shoppers coming in and getting used to going to farmers markets and getting used to going to those small businesses and those other locations to become their grocery stores. So we get really excited about seeing that, about getting that feedback. We do surveys every year. We do focus groups. We do a lot of talks with our retailers as well, that we can gather this feedback to know how the trainings went, what the interactions with customers have been like, what other materials they might need. We know, for example, as well, that nutrition incentive programs, a study was done by Colorado State University several years ago, that for every $1 spent using nutrition incentive programs, $3 is generated for the local economy. That is a massive boon for anyone who is looking at whether or not a program like this should be supported. So for us, it's a no-brainer, and it's something where we see those impacts foundationally, for that access for that person and those healthy choices and the food being on that table of that person, who's using Double Up Food Bucks, to that farmer, to that retailer, to that even, larger grocery store that is providing access all year round for healthy produce, all to come into, one larger viewpoint of supporting, that local economy all the way up.
Thanks, Josh. And so on that point about getting feedback from retailers, curious to hear what feedback you've heard or testimonials you have from SNAP participants who participate in Double Up Food Bucks.
Sure, yeah. I'm gonna give you a quick story here. So we work with the AmeriCorps Vista program. And oftentimes our Vistas, they'll be out and about in the community doing some education, doing some presentations. They might be at a site specifically speaking with customers coming in, telling them about the program. And when customers hear that this program is free to use, that the store is offering it, most of it is met with disbelief. Like, what do I have to do? What hoops do I have to jump through? What's in it for you doing this for me? Like, what information do I have to give you and give up in order to participate in a program like this? And when they find out that the barrier of entry for this is extremely low, it's just you have to be a Snap shopper. It's usually met with with disbelief, like, wow, I can't believe that's being out. And then it turns into just gratitude. So we find retailers get really excited about this program too. I mean, I have a quote I'll read from a retailer, but before I do that, I'm not quite done on the shopper experience yet with the Vistas. So we had a Vista working down in Westchester County at one of our locations down there at an Acme store. And a customer came in and was just kind of chatting with one of our Vistas and ended up just talking about the program to the Vista for about 25 minutes, just singing the praises of the program and how much they're looking forward to coming back to the store again and again and again, and what an amazing program this is, and how much it's benefited, them and their family, to be able to rely on something like this, and being able to get those anecdotes. We end up seeing the Vista come back in just incredibly inspired and with a huge smile on their face, which for us is fantastic. But you can tell that like they've heard and from a customer that has just been really blown away and has felt the impacts of the program in their daily life, on the ground. And for us, I mean, that's what it's all about. And we love hearing that. And on the retailer side, I can just read you a quote really quickly from one of the interviews or focus groups that our evaluators did, and one of the staff members just said, quote, I mean, I love to see how people are when they sign up for it. The people that sign up for it are in need of it. And usually, I mean, produce is just so expensive. It's ridiculous, and it's the thing that people need most. So I personally enjoy seeing people be astonished that the program is a thing and food is more accessible to them. So that's just one of the quotes that of the many that we got that we find, from the retailers who see these happy customers come in and the customers who are just feeling those impacts on the day to day, is it's really inspiring to us.
That's so awesome. Thank you, Josh, for sharing those stories. And I really want to highlight something you just said from that retailer, that produce is something people need the most.
Mm.
Absolutely. So really just want to say how much we appreciate your program and how awesome this is. And so with that in mind, I'm curious to hear what your vision for Double Up Food Bucks is and for similar nutrition incentive programs in the long term.
Yeah, thank you for asking about that. We have big ambitions. We're very ambitious with this whole program. We see the impacts. We know how much is being generated for the economy, the impacts it's making to the people using the program and the businesses who are involved in the program. So we want to see it continue to spread. Our goal is to be in all 57 counties, so excluding New York City. And I'll talk about why we're excluding New York City in a second, but to be in the 57 counties outside of New York City, that's all of them, by the end of 2027. So it's ambitious. Like I said, we're in 38 right now, but we want to be in 57 by the end of 2027. So that's expansion and growth of the program is number one. Is kind of the low-hanging fruit there, but we want to ensure that we're removing barriers for customers to use the program. So the ideal pie in the sky vision, the long-term vision, is that not only is the program grown and being used, but that it works the same across all these different sites, that there is a universal way in which this program can be administered and is administered and supported um, fiscally and sustainably by, by nationally and statewide, so that these nutrition incentive programs can be standing on a really solid bedrock of the funding necessary to continue them. We know why they are valuable. We know that they are proven to work. So we sitting on that, fiscal foundation is incredibly important and where we want to see ourselves as well as this program continues to grow. And real quick, the reason we don't work in New York City is New York City, we're great partners with the program down there, the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, and they run the Get the Good Stuff program and the Health Bucks program. So they have their own nutrition incentive program that they operate down there, and they do a really great job of that. So we work really closely with them and continue to do that. But currently, we kind of stay out of those five boroughs there in New York City. We do, however, work on Long Island.
That makes a ton of sense, Josh. And also just want to share that's a really exciting goal to be available in all counties outside of New York City by the end of 2027, but then also to remove some of those barriers and create a standardized uniform experience for both shoppers and retailers. That's really exciting. So, on a loosely related topic, everyone's favorite topic, Governor Hochul recently released the FY26 or fiscal year 2026 executive budget. Could you tell our listeners how Double Up Food Bucks fared in the executive budget proposal?
Yeah, I can go ahead and jump in here. So yeah, we were super happy to see a lot of the things included in the governor's executive budget. We were definitely no stranger to working to get Double Up Food Bucks included in that. Unfortunately, Double Up Food Bucks didn't make it into the governor's executive budget. That being said, we are super fortunate to have the support of New York State for Double Up Food Bucks. For the past 3 years, Double Up Food Bucks has been included as a legislative ad in the New York State budget for $2 million, like I said, for the past 3 years. So super thankful to all of our supporters in the legislature and in the governor's office. We totally get that, they think it's a great program, but, we totally understand if something goes in, something has to come out. And this is unfortunately just where the chips fell with Double Up Food Bucks this year. But that's not to say that we're not going to continue trying to get in that executive budget down the road. And that, we're still super supportive of all the support we have gotten up until this point. We were particularly, if now talking about the executive budget, we were super excited to see full funding for universal school meals, the Healthy School Meals for All campaign. We're big supporters of that, and we were super happy to see that make it into the governor's budget. So very happy to see that. And yeah, as far as Double Up Food Bucks goes, onward and upwards to the legislature.
Thank you so much, Cooper. It's truly exciting on universal school meals, absolutely, and love your tone of onward and upward. And so with that in mind, how can, in the next step, New York State legislators continue to support this program?
Yeah, so just quickly want to give a shout out to our champions in the legislature who we have worked very closely with for the past few years. Senator Michelle Hinchy, the chair of agriculture in the New York State Senate, Assemblyman Meeks, Assemblyman Morinello, as well as Senator Borrello. We have bipartisan support for the Double Up Food Bucks program and have had this support for the past few years. And these four in particular have been super huge champions of the program since its inception, but that's not to leave out any others there. We've had major supporters and other champions as well, including Senator Rachel May, Senator Leah Webb, Assemblywoman Donna Lupardo, and so many others that I can't name here, but I would be remiss if I didn't call out the legislature in their entirety for supporting us as much as they have in the past. And to that point, we're still needing them. We still need them to continue that support and to continue to go. One of the biggest things that they can do is to go to their chamber leadership, to go to the speaker, to go to the majority leader and speak out in session about their support for Double Up Food Bucks. It's not going to get in unless they know it's still around, then it's doing what it needs to do, and that there's support for it and there's backing for it. So speaking out in session is one of the biggest things that a member can do to show their support for Double Up Food Bucks. Another thing For the past few years, we've had budget letters of support, previously authored by our champions that I mentioned. We're hoping to have these again this year. Hoping to condense these, but there will be a letter for the Senate and the Assembly. So definitely keep your eyes peeled in the legislature for those. That's a really great way to sign on and support and show your support for the program as well. And yeah, like I said, just speaking up about the program, talking to your colleagues about it, encouraging your colleagues in the legislature to speak up, and just letting chamber leadership know, and the governor's office even, of the importance of this program are some of the really big things that elected officials can do to support the program.
That's super helpful, Cooper. And on behalf of Feeding New York State, our food banks, our community partners, and our listeners, we're excited to join you in the push to make sure that Double Up Food Bucks is fully funded in the upcoming budget. What about moving over constituents? What's a call to action you have for listeners interested in advocating to support Double Up Food Bucks?
Absolutely. Thought you'd never ask. So the big thing we have coming up on the horizon is our annual 2025 Double Up Food Bucks New York Day of Action at the New York State Capitol. This is taking place on Tuesday, February 11th. So coming up in just under 3 weeks here. This is a super fun day. Jam-packed day where we set meetings with elected officials all across the state, and we bring our partners with us to the Capitol in Albany. We hold a press conference in the morning. We give folks signs, Double Up Food Bucks swag to carry around, and just talk to their members and talk to elected officials from across the state about the program. We're going to drop the link in the video description here in the bottom. So if you are able to join, if you're in the area, or even if you're not in the area, but you want to come talk to your members in the Capitol and you want to show your support for Double Up Food Bucks, we would absolutely love to have you join us for this annual day of action for Double Up Food Bucks. The past few years have been super exciting. All of our partners who come have a great time. We make sure everything is there for you. We give you info packets on all of the members you'll be meeting with, talking points, but that's if you need it. We know that our work, the workers, the farmers, customers, they're the backbone of the program. And our goal is to make advocating for this program as easy as possible for them and to uplift their voices. We'll tee off these meetings, but we really like to emphasize during this day that our partners are the ones that we're here for. They're the ones who are going to be sharing their stories, telling their own personal connection with the program, what it really looks like implementing this program on the ground. Those are the programs, those are the stories that elected officials are going to remember. We can throw data at them. We can throw our impact report at them all the time. They'll say, oh yeah, this looks great. What does this mean? What does it mean for my constituents? How does this impact my district? And there's nothing more impactful than having a Double Up Food Bucks customer, having a New York farmer based in their district talk to that member and say, this is what the Double Up Food Bucks program does for me. I can put more food on my table for my family. I get to sell all of my crops and not have to, worry about if any of it's going to go to waste and, not have me get all of that financial gain from my full crop yield this year. Those are the things that the members are going to remember. And that's what's really going to push them over the edge and saying, I full-heartedly support the Double Up Food Bucks program. So if you're able, please join us for the day of action. If you're not able to, there is also a call to action that we will also put down in the link below here, but it's an anti-hunger call to action. So it talks about not just Double Up Food Bucks, but support for a bunch of other anti-hunger initiatives in the state budget, including NOEP, HIPNAP, Nourish New York, a bunch of other ones in there. So it takes less than a couple minutes. You can just click on it and it'll automatically send an email to your specific elected officials. So those are two ways that community members can get involved with supporting the Double Up Food Bucks program. If they're looking for additional ways, again, as Josh mentioned, please reach out to us directly and we will absolutely find something for you to do and put you to work.
That's excellent, Cooper. And that's a great place to close up here. So you heard it here, listeners. Double Up Food Bucks Day of Action on February 11th. We'll be sure to put the registration form in the episode description so you all have it. And if you can't make it on February 11th, that's okay. We'll have that click to action petition linked here as well. But come hang out with us on February 11th. Cooper Rohan, Josh McGuire, lead organizers on Double Up Food Bucks New York with the Field and Fork Network. Thank you both for joining us today. And remember, listeners, together we can end hunger and poverty in New York State. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.